Hey Calvary, welcome to our third regathering update for 2021. And actually, we're already regathering, so this is, I guess, just a general update. The last one was back in March, and a lot has happened since then, so I just wanted to give you a bit of an update. But before I dive into that, let me just say, as your pastor, how grateful I am to be part of the Calvary family. The last 18 months have brought about the most unique season of ministry in our lifetime. But if you know me, you know that I'm praying for a revival, an awakening, a move of God that I think will be even more unique than the last 18 months in a whole different way. God, would you amaze us again? I'm grateful to be part of the Calvary family because you have a great staff and great leaders. Notice I didn't say perfect. We have, and there will continue to be points where we mess up and let you down. But I'm telling you, there's no team that I'd rather be part of than this staff and leadership team at Calvary. I'm grateful to be part of the Calvary family because you have been so stinking generous. We've gone through this last season with open hands and open hearts from the largest 1% offering ever. And man, during this time of COVID and military coups in Myanmar, every kid we sponsor in Myanmar thanks you deeply. From that to the Community Relief Fund that you continue to support, to the General Fund. And in 2020, you gave more than you gave in 2019. And in 2021, we'll give more than we gave in 2020. Add to that the amazing opportunity that we have for this next chapter, $1 million match. And God has placed his gracious hand upon us. And I'm grateful to be a part. I'm grateful to be part of the Calvary family because you have allowed us to make changes as we head into the next chapter, like canceling worship services to go out and love our neighbors. So crazy. Who in the world would do that? I know that with so many things changing, so many uncertainties, some of these changes haven't been easy, but you've been gracious, and that's the kind of heart that God blesses. I'm grateful to be part of the Calvary family because so many of you have been willing to dive into your front yard mission, loving your neighbors, man. We're hearing the stories all the time. I love hearing the stories of what God is doing in you as he loves your neighbors through you. I could go on and on. This has not been an easy season for Lynn and I or for most of you, but I'm so grateful that we're walking through it with you. So some updates. Since Palm Sunday, we've been meeting in person. Some of you don't know that, some of you do. We've been meeting in person. Since July, we've been meeting in person without restrictions, and it's been going well. We could use more volunteers. Let me say that again. We could use more volunteers in just about every area. Greeters, ushers, Calvary kids, coffee. Yes, we start having coffee again soon. Then I'll even be back to church. Pastor Jake or Pastor Son, as I like to call him, could use a whole bunch of volunteers to work with our extreme youth ministry. Such an important part of what we do. We've been doing Flood 3 times a month on Sunday nights. I've gone to everyone that I've been in town for, and they've been so good. We relaunched Midtown at the State Theater on the 5th Sunday of August. That's a big update. You may or may not know that. I spent some time last week with the leaders at Midtown, and they felt that we're missing a big opportunity to reach the next generation if we're not at the State next year. So we're going back. And on Seawall Sunday, the 4th weekend of August 21st and 22nd, we're asking those of you, especially in the center region, to consider spending at least part of your Seawall Sunday at Penn State. Prayer walking, loving on students. They'll just be moving in that weekend. You can invite them to Midtown. And then no matter where you live, out beyond the center region, wherever, even virtually you're connecting, no matter where you live, we're asking you to focus our August Seawall Sunday, August 21st and 22nd, on the next generation. Pray for the kids in your neighborhood. Drive to a local school and spend some time in the parking lot praying or prayer walking around the building. Bless any teachers that you know of who are living in your neighborhood. Well, whatever you do, let's love our neighbors, especially who are part of the next generation. So the last part of this update, let me just hit a few specific questions that you might have, ones that I'm hearing at different points. The first one is, what about Calvary Online? Is that going to stop? No. In fact, it's probably our second largest gathering right now. For those of you who are connecting with us primarily online, you are our second largest gathering. We're committed to continuing a great online presence with worship gatherings and still to come other discipleship growth opportunities and other opportunities online to connect a bit more in community. In fact, we're in the process of putting together a Calvary Online team to help you connect and grow, to help you be still and know God, to help you love your neighbors wherever you live, and to support you when you go through a tough time. We are committed to helping you become all that God has for you to be. Second question, how long are we going to keep doing Seawall Sundays? For the foreseeable future. On the one hand, I've said to you, I look at it as an experiment in scattering to our mission. But on the other hand, I think it's going to take a long time to see how this experiment plays out. So I'm hoping and praying that more and more people will dive into not just Seawall Sundays, but really what they represent, because they represent the reality that we've been embracing for 2 decades. We don't go to church. We are the church. And as the church, Jesus has sent us on a mission to love our neighbors. That's at the very heart of what it means to be a Jesus apprentice. In fact, I'm convinced, growing more and more convinced, that it's the one vital missing ingredient to an epic release of Jesus apprenticing leaders. Seawall Sunday is not just giving you extra time to go out and love your neighbors. It's that too, because some of your neighbors are never more available than they are on Sunday morning. But Seawall Sunday is also kind of like a line in the sand. It's a standard placed in the middle of the field that says, this is who we will be. In fact, no longer will we judge the growth or the success of Calvary in terms of how many come to a worship gathering on Sunday. Worship gatherings on Sunday are awesome, amazing. But from now on, we're going to judge our growth and success by the number of front yard missionaries who scattered to love their neighbors Monday through Saturday. We don't go to church. We are the church. Third question, this is one that I'm getting occasionally. Have a lot of people left Calvary? Are we doing okay? And they have, and we are. Man, let me just say, first of all, that as I talk to pastors and pray for the church in Central PA, man, there is a shaking going on. Over the course of the last 18 months, a lot of people, listen to me, a lot of good people have decided that Calvary is no longer their church. Good people. You won't hear me bad-mouthing them because they are sons and daughters of Father God. They're family. They've left for a variety of reasons. To be honest, I'm not all that sure that the reasons matter all that much. Way back at the beginning of 2020, when I got COVID-19, I felt like God gave me 3 very direct words. One of those words was, Dan, I want you to surrender control. What you've been longing for, I sense God saying. What you've been longing for, I'm doing. I got this. And the second word was, I want you to surrender the crowds. So really, every time someone leaves, I kind of see God's hand in it. He has somewhere better for that person, and He has good in store for us. So yes, people have left, and yes, we're doing okay. We're doing more than okay. I mean, as difficult as this season has been, as much shaken as there has been going on, not just at Calvary, but in the church of Central PA, of the world. And I've never been more convinced that God's gracious hand is upon us. Giving is strong. Staff is healthy. People are loving their neighbors. God is making Himself known. I believe there's never been a better time than now to be part of God's family, and yes, part of the Calvary family. If you've been following along through the messages during the season, you know that I'm not interested in going back to normal. God has placed us in a transitional disruption, not a temporary interruption. I'm eager to move forward, but not go back. And moving forward, we're going to continue to invest significant resources in providing digital discipleship opportunities so that those who connect primarily online and those who come in person all can use those resources to grow as Jesus apprentices. Those resources will be for all of us. We're going to continue to champion the call to love our neighbors like never before. I believe that the revival God is bringing is going to spring up from neighborhoods all over Central PA. We're going to continue to disadvantage ourselves on behalf of other congregations in Central PA. We are committed to helping the church and congregations in Central PA thrive. You know, in a typical year throughout the United States, 18,000 churches will close their door. Now that's balanced by new churches starting up. But because of this last year, it's estimated that the next 6 to 18 months, we could see 60,000 churches in the U.S. close. We want to do our very best to help congregations in Central PA thrive. And finally, we're going to continue to call each other to a lifestyle of prayer. Without prayer, it's just a bunch of hard work for a 1 or 2% return. God has put more in our hearts. This week, I'm on my way to Minnesota for the wedding of my son, Josh. A wedding is a celebration of hope, right? It's a moment where we celebrate a new chapter just beginning. I'll be officiating that wedding with so much hope in my heart for them. And honestly, I feel the same way for us. Hope as we enter into a new chapter. And I continue to pray, God, would you do it again? God, would you amaze us? I'm so glad that you're on the journey with me.